This should be a fairly simple stream today. The idea that I have is to just get the lightning spear from Sens, which should be fairly simple. It's very strange to be playing vanilla Dark Souls again after working on nothing but my mod for like the last week. But you know, it's gonna feel wrong to have skinny dragon form if I ever use dragon form outside of the mod again. Need money or you can't afford to be gay. Capitalism is homophobic, this is true. Demon Titanite, the easiest to get are the one in the parish, the two from trades. We need one in the Incense Fortress. Then we can get one or five from chests in Orlando, and then two more from the Prowling Demon in Orlando. Your thanks for grazing your eyes with a thick dragon. I mean, it's for me too, don't worry. Wow, a broken straight sword. Isn't that like a 1% drop chance? I know it's like unnecessarily rare for how useless of a drop it is. The very, very slightly better straight sword hilt. I guess you can use it for transforming weapons. Actually, isn't the Greatsword of Artorias the only weapon transfusion that uses the broken straight sword? Imagine getting hit by the Asylum Demon twice in a row. I would never do such a thing. Ever, never, never. I think I'm going to use the 2,000 souls from the Asylum Demon to buy a Prism Stone and Dung Pai real quick. Just to use the half of Depths clip that lets me get to the Female Ender Merchant. It might be worth it to try and get the sword up to +5 just for the Titanite Demon and Sens. Well, no, because I can use the Lightning Spear for the Prowling Demon. Are Prowling Demons like weak to lightning? It's probably better to use a physical +10. I know the Iron Golem is weak to lightning, but then I don't know if one boss who's already easy being slightly easier is worth most other things taking less damage. I guess without the scaling though. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'll probably do the simplest thing. I wanted to do Sense Skip once and not multiple times, but it might be easier to grab the spear, warp out, get it to +10 instead of lightning, and then kill the Prowling Demon in the parish. I don't know why my brain keeps going back and forth between Prowling Demon and Titanite Demon. They're both technically correct. Okay, so we need a Dung Pai and a Prism Stone. I'm pretty sure I can get out this side. I hope I can. I can't get out this side, damn it. Help. Wait, what? Okay, there we go. That was scary. What are they called? Prowling Demons? That's just the name that FromSoft uses, like in strategy guides and stuff. Also like in the files or whatever, but as far as I know, the community learned about the name from strategy guides. The more common community name is obviously Titanite Demons, but I don't know. If you watch like Illusory Wall, he calls them Prowling Demons occasionally. I feel like I have a lot of really weirdly esoteric Dark Souls knowledge, just from how much I've played the game and engaged with the community without even knowing where I get a lot of that knowledge. Cool to see a full demon. I mean, I'm sure you... The thing is, right, lore-wise, I'm pretty sure they are full demons. I think I want to get to... It's 24. I'm gonna have plenty of souls to get to that after the Iron Golem, so I should be fine. Need to go this way. Yeah, lore-wise, the demons grew from slabs of Titanite, right? So I don't think there exists a full demon. Like, there hasn't been enough time passed since the blacksmith deity passed away that a full demon could have grown. So technically, the state that they exist in now is a full demon. It's not like they've been broken apart. It's just they haven't fully grown, I assume, anyway, from what I know of the lore. This is what I mean. Like, I've read so little of the lore entries in Dark Souls. Like, I barely ever read the item descriptions, but I know all this lore just from talking to people in the community. I'm pretty sure it is the Demon Titanite. It's either the Catchpole or the Demon Titanite item description that mentions the blacksmith deity, right? There's also some theory about Sen being the blacksmith deity that I really like, just because there are 4 Prowling Demons in Sen's Fortress, which is like, okay, well, if they were the blacksmith deity, obviously they would have had a lot of Titanite. So it makes sense that a lot of the Titanite slabs would be concentrated in Sens. And also, you know, there's all these metal traps, but there's also, you know, the counter theory that Sen just helped, or the Blacksmith 80 just helped Sen with the fortress. Hence why there was so much Titanite or whatever. I don't know. The Dragon Slayer or the Dragon's Lair? I hope the second one. Blacksmith Goddess Andre. I thought the Prowling Demons started growing out of the Titanite slabs because the Blacksmith deity passed away. Like, was just gone, right? I don't know. I don't know where that theory comes from. I know originally there were plans to make Andre like a relative of Gwyn, and like that might have been the intention originally, and there's like remnants of that in the lore. But if there are, I don't know what they are. Wow, that is very little damage. I don't know if killing this guy is worth it. I don't even need to worry about crystal lizards this run. Andre's kidney stones? Is that what Titanite shards are? Or Titanite slabs? Has he been drinking way too much Monster? Okay. You got this. Oh my god, I got juked! I didn't got it. The blacksmith that got his Rickert. The blacksmith that everyone forgets about. Oh my god, Rickert's the furtive pygmy, and the furtive pygmy is the blacksmith deity. It's all making sense now. In theory, I could go kill Havel. I don't know, I could do Sunskip and get the spear, and just not worry about upgrading the sword at all, and do everything out here once I get the spear, because the range and actual damage is going to be a lot more useful than whatever's on the longsword. Yeah, I'll do Sunskip twice. I've been doing Sunskip pretty consistently. Oh, I have to fight the Mimic with an unupgraded longsword. I mean, it's fine. The Mimic isn't exactly difficult to fight, but it's going to take a while. I wonder if I could lure it in front of the boulders. Get a Lloyd's? Oh, right, the talisman. You're so right. Come on, you got this. Ow. I don't think that's going to be... It was perfect. Oh, God. This always happens. Why does this always happen? Here we go. It's so... I feel like I should be consistent at this by now, and I kind of am, but I always have an instance where I just, like, don't understand where the camera is going when I first start the glitch, and then everything becomes way easier. Where is it? There it is. I've gotten like, oh, you should do a challenge run where the whole game is in death cam with tank controls, and it's like, technically that would be possible, but because objects don't load when in death cam, it would be insanely tedious to just constantly like reload the game, or, you know, I would just like skip everything because I'm constantly in death cam, right? So I don't know like how feasible that would be as a full game run kind of thing, if at all. In theory, I could mod death cam planes all over the game and not put kill planes everywhere, but I don't know. Like technically it's possible, but in terms of how interesting or, you know, fun of a run to do that would be, I was, however, thinking of, now that I've learned how to do like material modding and stuff, since I added a deep water section to my mod, I could do, I don't know how feasible it would be because I haven't actually tried it, but it would technically be possible to do a Dark Souls, but everywhere is a poison swamp. Okay, grab that. Yeah, it's not a terrible weapon, but it is one of the worst spears, in my opinion. If not straight up the worst spear. Like, it's worse than the demon spear, right? So. Spear slays dragon, so it must be good? True. Looks a little thin. Yeah, Ornstein's toothpick. That's not the first time that joke has been made in my streams, and I haven't even used it yet. I think the reason I want to do Toxic Swamp, or not Toxic Swamp, but Poison Swamp, I think that one would be the most interesting, because you're not constantly getting poisoned, right? Poison Bite Ring would actually help quite a bit, on top of, like, having to take a ring slot for the Rusted Iron Ring, unless I want to be slow rolling all the time. So it would take more careful ring management than usual, and health management. Poison Bite and Purple Moss would actually be useful. I don't know. Oh god. Yeah, the range on this spear is really nice. I don't know. In my mind, it doesn't feel like there's more poison in Dark Souls 2 than the other games. Like, proportionally, I guess. Because there is poison. Like, there's Arthen Peak. Yeah, Black Gulch, there is poison. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go to Anne Orlando in a moment. There's five Demon Knight in Anne Orlando. I'm getting one, or I'm getting two from trading, which is 7. I got one from the parish, and then I need to get 2 more in Sens, and that'll get me up to 10. Yeah, Earthen Peak is like the only poison area. Black Gulch, kind of, but that's just the statues against the Titanite demons. I guess, but I don't know. The Titanite demons don't have an incredibly interesting moveset, and I am going to be fighting one of them with the Dragon Slayer Spirit anyway. I do need to kill the Iron Golem to get the weapon, obviously, and Ornstein and Smough, but otherwise those are the only bosses I'll be fighting. Never in a million years will I be able to pull off the Iron Golem grab skip live on stream. I spent 6 hours doing that for a challenge run, the minimum souls run, which, by the way, it wasn't even the minimum souls because I forgot the egghead. And I pulled it off once, and I messed up the quit out, the frame perfect quit out at the end of the trick. There is no way in hell to be pulling that out off. Maybe I should have gotten the Rusted Iron Ring, but I don't know. It's fine. It's just a couple Titanite demons. Ugh. Oh my goodness. I need to get a second to heal. Make sure I don't get jumped on. That's kind of the only dangerous move Titanite demons have. Oh. And when you're bad at the video game, they have other dangerous moves. Love listening to Lemon's technical details. Am I Lemon? Or are you talking about the backlogs, Lemon? Hello? Okay, I guess I'm not complaining about that. I ran out of... I wasn't careful with my stamina management. Skill issue. Me? Okay. I do know what poop walking is. I did watch Splee's video about that, yeah. You're exclusively to hate watch? Because I'm using the toothpick instead of the hammer. That's totally fair, to be honest. I forgot about the tail hitbox. There we go. Is there an antonym to supremacy that can be used in the same context? I actually don't know. Inferiority? I guess so, yeah. That is an antonym to superiority. Or to supremacy? I guess it's the antonym to superiority, which is synonymous. I don't know. Words are hard. I use words for a living, but I'm still not good at them. I've done a Dragon Slayer Spear run before. I never finished it, but I fought every boss except for Calamite and Gwyn, and I ended up giving up because I just hated using the weapon. Honestly, if I died to the Iron Golem, I deserve to run back through Sins. Why would I do that? It's a boss weapon that's specifically placed in a location with a lot of boss weapon upgrade materials. I feel like not upgrading it would be kind of... I don't like imposing arbitrary challenge on myself. Like, don't get me wrong, I like challenge runs, but the challenge runs I do are specifically like, how can I show off stuff in the game, not how can I make this harder on myself, because arbitrarily making things harder I don't think is very interesting or fun. So that's why I do the runs the way I do, you know. I know this game incredibly well, and I can use that to my advantage to make effectively any run significantly easier than it would be for, you know, most people who don't know the game as well as I do. And that's what I like about doing challenge runs the way I do, because it just is so unique from how most people do them. I did not expect him to fall. I think a good example of that, I think it was Baron's Castle? I don't remember. It was one of them. One of the other, like, a lot more popular challenge runners than me, did a "Can you beat Dark Souls as a level 1 dragon" video. And they didn't use Power Within, they didn't use RTSR, they didn't use, like, any of the damage buffs. I think they tried to use a Torso Stone effect for extra damage, but they made it a lot harder on themselves, is the point. And when I did mine, they ended up commenting on my video. I was like, oh, hey, I did this run. I think it'll be interesting. Oops. I should have rested in Sins. Wait a second. I forgot. I should have rested. Anyway, Point is, I like the fact that I use, you know, all my weirdly esoteric game knowledge to make the game as easy as possible for myself, even in the context of challenge runs, because I think that's what makes this game so interesting and replayable and so much fun. I mean, yeah, a lot of challenge runners do make things harder for themselves, and like I've done that too, to the degree where it was only for challenge, like the nothing run, right? My very first challenge run. Actually, that's not even true. I guess the like no healing aspect, that was kind of more for clickbait though. Then is it even worth upgrading beyond this? Probably not, right? Mega Vitality. There are aspects in which I think arbitrary difficulty can be fun because it forces you to play in a different way. But when it's just difficulty for difficulty's sake, that's not my favorite thing. Challenge runs are for videos, showcase runs are for streams. True. I don't know. I do showcase runs in videos, right? Like I did the whip video. The bow only video was technically a challenge run, right? But I was doing insane amounts of damage. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think some challenge runs can be really fun. Like my nothing run, that was a really fun way to like showcase parts of the game I had never experienced, right? I can't use armor, I can't use weapons that have equip weight. So, you know, I'm using pyromancy, which is really common, but I'm also primarily relying on dragon form for damage, which wasn't something that I had seen in a video up to that point. Like there was the soul level on dragon, but even then, I don't know, that didn't really show off any parts of the game that I hadn't seen before. Especially once I started using like Power Within and a lot of other buffs and stuff to like make challenge runs easier. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, I would really appreciate a like. It helps with the algorithm and everything. And it lets me know what people like to see and whatever. So, Jazza. Wasn't there an art YouTuber named Jazza? An Australian artist? An Elden Ring streamer does the same thing that I do in this game. That sounds... I don't know. Elden Ring is harder for me to replay because a lot of weapons just feel worse than other weapons. To a degree, that's true of like Demon Souls. And a little bit here. Like, the Bastard Sword just kind of felt worse than the Claymore, but the Bastard Sword does have its own benefits, so like slightly higher damage for the slightly worse range. And the different moveset, right? So, I don't know. I feel like Elden Ring doesn't hold up in that way. Because like while a lot of weapons do function differently, and it can be fun to use weapons that are worse, it just feels bad to not use one of the good quote-unquote weapons. I don't know. And like I definitely understand why you would enjoy Elden Ring in that way. I just don't personally. But I do like that there are other people who do similar things to me in different games. That's really cool. I guess oh, what's his name? Yasmania does that for Dark Souls 2 as well, right? I would say that's pretty similar. I've been called the Yasmania of Dark Souls 1. Solar Pellets and Yasmania collab. I'm not going to reach out to Yasmania because that's scary. And I feel weird doing that. But if people reach out to him, you know, I would absolutely love to do something with Yasmania. I just don't know what it would be. Like, hey, want to do this thing where you use this weapon in Dark Souls 2, oops, and I use it in Dark Souls 1, and then we talk about it? Or like, I don't know. What would we do together? Yeah, Lemon, I think Baron's Castle also does challenge run streams. There are a lot of people who do challenge run streams. I just don't personally, because I like taking my time with challenge runs. Big channel now. Big is a strong word. But, I don't know. That said, it occurred to me that the town that I grew up in, that I spent, you know, like, God, how many years of my life did I live there? At least 8. I moved there. I moved to Tillamook, the cheese brand, that Tillamook. I moved there when I was 7, I think, because my parents had been like hopping around between houses because they never had stable incomes. And then they finally did end up getting stable incomes and we moved into Tillamook. But I had also lived in Tillamook for quite a while otherwise. I like lived with my grandma for a few years. So probably from 4 to 6, and then spent like almost a year away, and then 7 to 14, and then I still lived in Tillamook County till I was 18. But point is, that town has a that town has a population of 5,000 people, which means my YouTube channel has had more subscribers than my hometown for a very long time. And that like really hit me recently because it's like, oh my god. Of all the people that I've ever met in my entire life, I have, like, more people have chosen to watch my videos than I have ever met in my life. And that's just insane to me. That's an absurd amount of people. I need to get this to +10 actually first. Yeah, I don't know. That's scary. People are scary, but it's so cool to, like, know that people are enjoying what I'm making and that I can, you know, have a positive effect on so many people's lives. Talking about your hometown, Tillamook, like the cheese factory, Tillamook. That's crazy. Never did I ever think I'd ever meet anyone on the internet who's from the same town as me. How's it feel to be one of the 5,000 people who lives in Tillamook? Okay, Spear +10 from Cheese Factory Town. You can't make it up. Yeah, a lot of people I know actually now, because one of my partners started doing it. I made the joke that I was born in the cheese factory. Because the hospital in Tillamook is like 2 miles from the cheese factory. Oh, get out of the way! Ah! I shouldn't have rolled that direction, but it's fine. I am failed cheese. Yeah, everything is 2 miles from the cheese factory, that's true. I mean, that's not... It's on the north end of town, right? So it's a little bit away. Does the creamery even, like, make their cheese there anymore? I know they do have, like, the cheese factory part of it, but that feels more like for museum purposes than actually producing cheese. Because there's a lot of places that sell Tillamook cheese, right? It's a very, very popular brand in a lot of the country. I'm trying to read as much as I can. Oh, you're so right! I just went on autopilot and I need to kill Smough first. Oh my goodness. Tillamook ice cream is good. I actually prefer Umpka. And, like, Secret Selection or whatever. I don't like Tillamook more than most brands, but, like, Tillamook peanut butter ice cream is home. Chocolate peanut butter ice cream is home, so. You know, being forced to get the Leo ring is one of the positives with this. I can't believe I just started killing Ornstein on autopilot. I forgot that one of the reasons I hate getting the spear is because I don't like using the spear on Ornstein because thigh gaps. I fought like double the boss fight than I needed to. My apologies. Ruby is my name. I picked it because I played Tunic, and the Ruin Seeker got called Rue by some of the community. I don't know how much of the community calls them that. Jesus. But someone in the community that I saw called them Rue. And I thought that was a really cute name. I was like, that's my name. No, actually, I'm stealing that. But it didn't feel like much of a name to me. And somebody suggested Ruby instead of Rue because I didn't want to be called just Rue. You know. And that stuck. I hate this moveset and the hitboxes. Whoa, where are you going? Tunic is pretty great. Tunic was absolutely Game of the Year 2022. I went back and played it recently because I wanted to do the stick-only challenge run, and I got pretty far. I did get to the final boss. I never beat the final boss because final boss stick-only no upgrades is insane. It would be pretty easy with upgrades. I think I could do that, but I don't think I'd be able to do it without upgrades. I've tried. I spent probably 4 hours fighting the final boss with only the stick without upgrades, and it is rough. Oh. This is the damage of all time. Indeed. Maybe I should have grabbed, like, Power Within or something. Oh god. Just gotta be careful with stamina management and not get greedy. Oh, because getting greedy will kill me very quickly. Oh my god, I hate this boss. Yeah, a lot of people assume I'm a guy because my voice, which is like... I don't know. I've been told my voice is androgynous, and because of that, a lot of people just default to guy. But I know my voice is also a lot deeper than you would expect from, like, a cis woman, or, you know, a trans woman who does voice training. But I've specifically avoided voice training because of that, because I, you know, like being, I don't know, I want to be part of the group that normalizes diverse voices, just because, oh my god, just because a lot of people can't voice train, right? So I want to be able to help with that because I don't have voice dysphoria, right? I'm able to, and I find it as a, or I see it as a good cause, especially since it's something that, you know, doesn't cause me any negatives to be able to do. I don't know. I try to talk about identity and sexuality and everything frequently because I feel like it's an important thing to bring up with a platform. And like, you know, I do inarguably have a platform, even if it's not a huge one. So I do try to bring that up frequently, but it's not every single video. And I don't blame anyone for just kind of assuming. I don't know. I've never intentionally changed my voice. Sometimes I'll get like mildly dysphoric and start trying to change it a little bit, but if I'm not feeling dysphoric at all at the moment, I'll just talk the way it feels natural, which is about this. I don't feel dysphoric right now, for instance. I don't think my voice is particularly feminine. I would consider it androgynous most of the time, unless I'm like tired. I am a woman. I am a trans woman, which I say purely for representation purposes, but if you're not part of, like, you know, the queer community and don't see representation as my representation as important for you, you can just think of me as a woman. You know what a T-girl voice sounds like here on the internet? Do I have a T-girl voice? I don't know. Again, I've never done voice training, so I kind of assumed that my voice was not typical trans femme voice. Here we go. I think of women all the time. That's like one of my favorite things to think about. I'm currently thinking of women, plural. On the topic of representation, there are some parts of my identity that it's not that I try to not, what am I trying to say? It's not that I don't try to represent them as frequently as I can. It's that it comes up less often. Like, I'm plural, right? Yes, women plural did make me think of me being plural. I don't know. Being plural doesn't come up very often as much as I want to talk about it more because it is very much an identity piece that needs more representation in general. I am a system. I don't know. System doesn't feel like the right word to describe us, but it's fitting. I talk about being plural in the Discord frequently, but not as frequently as, I don't know. I feel like that is something that I should bring up more, just, again, for just the purpose of representation. There are a lot more plural people than you would think that there are if you're not, like, aware of plurality already, and I think that's really cool. Maybe I'm not even wearing any rings. Okay, well, there's one. Am I gonna have to be naked to fast roll right now? Misunderstood plural as feral? That's not inaccurate. You call them gang. I don't think I communicate with my headmates like that. I am not single. Kind of the opposite. I'm also poly. That's something that I also don't talk about very frequently. Every time I talk about having partners, I try to say one of my partners instead of, like, my partner. Just because, again, representation purposes. Wow. Counter damage. I don't know. And it's not even like, you know, I think it's a moral good to represent people. It's just like, I don't know, it makes people happy to know that there are other people like them, and it's comforting to know that someone who just presents as otherwise, or who like does something extremely normal on the internet, you know, making Dark Souls challenge videos, is like them. And I think that's why, you know, I have a pretty strong community, because I'm very, very open about my identity and everything. And I don't know, I love everyone in this community. There are so many, it's so many incredibly cool people. Ouch. Who are, you know, part of this community. Damn it. I think another reason I like to, like, be very open about identity and stuff is because a lot of people just aren't exposed to it. So regardless of representation, I think it's important for people to know that there are people who, you know, are plural, or who are poly, or who are trans, who are gender non-conforming. It's, you know, I don't know, maybe I should get the repair box so I can actually use the lightning. Not that I'm gonna, but so I can. So the option is there. I hate this one because it's in such a tiny room. This is the worst prowling demon in the game. This is a mini boss. That's true. That's why they're called mini bosses. Gender, am I right? True. I agree. Gender. Oh my god, get out of the corner! Please. Gender. I hardly know her. That one's scary. I thought that would kill it. No, I got greedy. God damn it. There we go. My Kirk dies after we win his invasions 3 times. He was so disgraced at losing at PvP 3 whole times. He just keeled over. I assume these guys are resistant to lightning. That doesn't look that resistant, actually. Oh. I queued the... Okay. I couldn't see. That was scary. I was relying on pure intuition there, and it worked out. How did the window break then, Krista? Your little theory about Tarkus beating the Iron Golem doesn't explain that. Therefore, Tarkus clearly got thrown clear through the window by the Iron Golem. What's the scaling like? Better than I expected, admittedly. Maybe I should go to 2740. I did 2 nothing runs. There was a can I beat Dark Souls with nothing, which was there were like a bunch of like arbitrary rules to it. Not arbitrary, but a bunch of rules to it that I thought would make an interesting challenge run. And the idea was like there are so many rules that it seems like there's nothing that I can use. So it was no healing, no equip load, no armor, no weapons, no rings. I don't know. Probably some other things. I forgot. But then people were like, you used stuff in this run. You have to use literally nothing. So then I made a follow-up video called Can You Beat Dark Souls with Literally Nothing? Which was the second challenge run that I did. And for that, I thought that was... I did explain some obscure mechanics like humanity drop chances, soft humanity drop chances specifically, among other things. And that was a really fun video to do. But how poly relationships? Okay. First of all, terminology, because polygamy is specifically one man with a bunch of wives, is a very outdated term, and specifically refers to like the kind of marriage where it was a man owning a woman, that style of marriage. But polyamory is the idea of having, multiple people having multiple partners, and really what it comes down to is like communication. You just gotta like talk to your partners, help them understand what you are and aren't comfortable with their other relationships, and see if that's gonna work out for you, and if you can be in a relationship together and all that. It's really just a lot of communication and understanding how you personally would handle polyamory. That is not a lot of damage. It can be a really healthy relationship dynamic for some people. It's also really not healthy for some people, so you really just gotta understand yourself. Communication is the main word, though. Keyword there. I don't know. In my experience, straight people have a lot harder time communicating. But polyamorous straight people tend to, or not straight people, but polyamorous people. Very, very few polyamorous people are straight, if any. But they seem to be slightly better at it than monogamous straight people. Do you guys want to start a polyamorous relationship? I'll be the twink. Wait, was that from 06? I think that's the 06 dub. Rules card. I love the lore that they think he's incredibly hot. Just annoying. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how some people feel about me. I don't know. Personally, polyamory works for me a lot better than monogamy, just because, I don't know, I have a lot of feelings toward a lot of different people. And those feelings, when I was in monogamous relationships would very much hurt them. But, now that I actually talk to my partners and everything, and communicate and understand healthy relationship boundaries and stuff, works out a lot better, and I'm in a lot healthier relationships. If you ever have any questions like that, and this goes to anyone who may be watching both the stream or the VOD, there is a Discord link in the description. There are a lot of really, really cool queer people, a lot of really cool people in general. Most of them are queer, is the point. And if you ever have any questions about anything, I'm sure at least someone would be happy to answer something like that. Yeah, you should join the Discord. Extremely hard time understanding polyamory. I mean, it's definitely a thing that's not for everyone, and I understand the trepidation with it that a lot of, especially neurotypicals, have. I would say that polyamory is probably a lot more fitting for neurodivergent people, at least in my experience. Yeah, I don't know. I've met very few neurotypicals who are in like polyamorous relationships and such. Yeah, I think a big part of like advocacy, queer advocacy, is helping people understand what it's like to be queer and why. Um, and yeah, it's really just like a lot of queer phobia is down to ignorance. So at least personally, I'm always happy to share things like that. That's decent. Not good, but it's decent. Oh. Oh my god. She one-shot me. I try to, at least, can. Um, you'd have to ask my partners to know if I communicate well. Wow, look at that. I definitely have the pendant. But I don't know. I do my best. And I think good communication is like a core tenet of having a solid, strong relationship. And sexual? It's different depending on the person. Personally, I don't consider myself transsexual. I am transgender because I identify as the gender that I was not assigned at birth, right? So when I was born, the doctor saw an Audi and was like, yeah, that's a boy right there. But I consider myself a woman, so that's transgender. The majority of the time, in my experience, it's different for some people, so this isn't like a rule, because terminology is weird like that. Transsexual has to do with changing your sex characteristics more than just your social gender, right? So for instance, again, it depends on the person. Like, I take estrogen, which has given me secondary sex characteristics. Like, I still consider myself like male, and it doesn't make me uncomfortable to consider myself male. I just happen to also be a woman. But for some people, being seen as, you know, the sex as of male does make them uncomfortable, and so they try to stray away from that as much as possible, because sexes are weird and oh my goodness, are weird and inconclusive and messy with blurry borders. So it really just comes down to the person. The word is, I don't know, it depends on the person, again, whether or not it's outdated, because some people do consider themselves transsexual, just because it makes them feel more comfortable with their identity, right? Which I think is a valid reason to consider yourself transsexual. Well, I don't know, transvestite is also a very negative term. Technically, transvestite is a person who dresses like the opposite sex, but even that, like, definition of the terminology is very messy. Calling a drag queen a transvestite feels like you're insulting them, because we already have better, more, you know, socially friendly terms for that. That is just cross-dressing, yeah. which is why transvestite feels like a negative term, because, you know, we have other terms for it. Yeah, it used to be used synonymously with transgender, especially in a lot more ignorant circles. But now it's just like not a word that we use for anything positive. And like, again, a lot of this terminology comes down to the person. If somebody calls themselves a transvestite, if they prefer to be called that and aren't like saying that other trans people or whatever should be considered or should be called transvestites, if they're not advocating for that language for other people and only for themselves, you know, it's like down to the individual. But this is what I am saying is like my experience with other trans people and how they feel about the words. Transvestite is generally seen as negative. Transsexual can be seen as negative. Not always, but I try to stray away from it and just default to transgender, because that's also what I feel for myself. I mean, second try is pretty decent relative to recent attempts, right? So I'm happy with second try. Was third? That's what I said. Third try is good compared to recently. I'm not shying away from that. You know, it feels weird. This is gonna... I don't know if this is how weird this is gonna sound, or if other, especially white trans people, can relate, or even like any white queer people. It feels so weird to like think of myself as part of a marginalized community, because I do benefit from like a lot of social privilege, right? So considering myself marginalized just feels wrong, because so many other people have it so much worse. But then there's like a whole slur for the kind of person I am. And it feels weird to like, I don't know, because I use it, right? For my friends and partners, because it's fun. I don't know. Yeah, YouTube probably won't like anyone saying the slur. Yeah, I know a lot of people of color. Or, not personally. I know of a lot of people of color who are trans who are like just like over constantly because of racism and transphobia. Like racism and transphobia have a lot of overlap, and especially when you have it's the wrong word, when you are a person of color who is trans, like that intersection is god, I feel so bad for so many people. There are so many like white trans spaces that are horrifically racist in a lot of ways, and it's like how are you gonna I don't get it. I don't understand. Your slur is cool. I don't know. I will never understand how somebody can be marginalized and still bigoted. That's such a crazy intersection to me. That's just white women for the last 100 years being marginalized and bigoted. Yeah, that's true. People in the car community say it all the time because it's slang for transmission. Oh, true. There's also like skate terminology for it, right? I think it's outdated now, but I think like skating terminology, it's short for transfer or something. I don't skate, but I've heard it in Skate 3 videos. The bar isn't there? Hello? Demon Souls? Okay. You can say like 3 slurs. I've got 2, which is weird. I mean, I guess if you have the T slur, then you also have the F slur, huh? There's a slur for ginger people? That's... Actually, that makes sense. There is the slur. That's up, actually. The F slur is... it's slang for a cigarette in Europe, in some European countries. Solar had the sunlight, what? Wait, am I... Am I the sunlight maggot? I'm gonna change my channel name from Solar Pellets to Sunlight Maggot. There is a slur for tiny people, but... or for little people. I don't think it applies to you, Krista. There are more conditions other than just being short. That is indeed a slur, yes. It's very, very muddled and a lot of very, very offensive history for that. Is there a slur for puppies? Yes. It starts with S and rhymes with mutt. I think that counts. Mutt would also be a good slur for puppies, true. There are 2. Anyone else think the Bell of Awakening is the exact same bell from the Taco Bell commercials? I agree. Does the B word count? Yeah, I think so. It's clinker. I don't, okay. The thing about clinker is that while it was a fictional slur made up by Star Wars for droids and is now used for AI, there's a lot of very questionable people using it. So using it as a slur might not be the best idea if you care about your not being viewed as a bigot. So, I like toaster. Toaster's a funny one. I think nut muncher is closer to a slur for gay men than robots. Oil slurper. That one's pretty good too. I think slurper feels very visceral to me. Occasionally. Okay, so this came to mind yesterday. I was working on my mod, and I was, you know how at the beginning when you open Dark Souls, there's like the like how the text for the title screen fades in. That's actually a video in a proprietary format that is .vik.bic, and that is a proprietary file format created by Bink Software, which is a nearly defunct company that used to be a very popular software company. Bink. More particular, Bink doesn't sound okay to use sometimes. I think that's funny. The big problem with a lot of like AI, not even necessarily, even if they train the models off of their own data and don't steal, it still takes an absurd amount of water and creates an absurd amount of pollution for how little it actually does, right? Any attempt at AGI will just be not worth it, even remotely. Didn't really see the weapon showcase. Yeah, I like to think that these streams are less about the game and more about the community and just talking to people. I think this is a really fun place to just chat. With Dark Souls as kind of background noise. Ow. Yeah, functionally and practically useless. And worse than useless, it's actively detrimental to not only us, but the world as a whole, right? So, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, not bad damage. Admittedly, this is a maxed out weapon on the gargoyles, and in that context, it's kind of underwhelming, but... Make stamina regen the green crust speed, so you don't have to use it every playthrough? I don't use it every playthrough. I only grab it when it's like, oh, I'm going down there anyway, might as well. And even then, a lot of the time, I don't grab it. I like the base stamina regen speed. I think it works pretty well. And I also like the idea of putting emphasis on rings, because like the Chloranthy ring is another extremely useful ring, right? And the more useful rings, the better, because that means more choice when it comes to what you're using, which is why I buffed and changed a lot of rings as well. It's the ability to get 4 ring slots. I don't know, that's what I like about Dark Souls 1 though, right? Is there's a lot more choices that you have to make, and you have to be a lot more careful with what you do. So I like the 2 ring slots, especially with my mod, because so many more rings are so much better. I just like the idea of being forced to choose between two rings, despite the fact that there are like, you know, at least 10 or 15 rings that I would want to use in any given playthrough. Like I'm constantly switching between them and whatever, and I think it's fun. Apples and favor and protection. Favor and protection is so obscenely overrated. Like it's nice to have if you don't have anything else, but I would always take Chloranthy over favor and protection for so many reasons. Ow. That's exactly what makes Dark Souls Woken. There are so many things that are specifically against that rigidity. Like, one of the lords is transgender. Solaire, who is very explicitly and obviously a worshipper of the status quo, is doing it out of ignorance, right? He has very clearly been lied to, and he's queer. If anything, the fact that there is so much social rigidity in the Dark Souls story is even more reason to think that it's woke. I love the fact that we put so much like queer representation in Dark Souls, and I know that's a thing that the queer community does in general, but I think it's funny how this community specifically has done that with Dark Souls, calling Artorias a lesbian. I think people have also called Ornstein a lesbian, and have shipped him with Smough, and now Nameless. Yeah, puppy girl. He, him, lesbian, puppy girl Artorias. Puppy boy Artorias. He, him, lesbian, puppy boy Artorias. Nameless and Ornstein is just self-shipping, which is also peak, to be fair. That's not terrible. I guess they are weak to lightning though, right? Doing a lot less damage to the overall health bar though. Like, that is dramatically different, wow. Imagine Ornstein to be a twink. I've been forced to imagine fake lore. Whoa. Excuse me? That's so annoying. That's gonna end up killing me, I think. Everything's fine. Drink faster. Just because when I stream, people make up lore all the time, and it's awesome. I love it. I love this community a lot. My mod forkings feel a lot better. Because you don't have to sit there and wait for a while. But I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn too much. It's not like... all the changes that I made in Goddess of the Sun Edition weren't to make the game better. I feel like that's a pretty important distinction. I don't think I made the game better. It's just a different experience. And a different experience that I prefer in some ways. I prefer this version, though, in a lot of other ways, right? Just because, like, it's not like I want to wear the Rusted Iron Ring every time I fight the Sanctuary Guardian. Which, I don't know. The reason I made that change is because I wanted rings to be more important, but also because I think the Sanctuary Guardian is unnecessarily weak and easy. Waiting for the Four Kings isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, it gives you a chance to catch your breath in the middle of the fight, which can be really important for a relatively long fight that is relatively DPS requirement heavy and everything. That's really not good. Everything's fine. I don't know. Like, I don't think I improved Dark Souls with my mod. I just think I made a different experience. We have Executioner Smough in the chat to verify his relations with Ornstein. Or to suspiciously deny them. The suspicious denial. right off the bat. Every stream has one committed Dark Souls character bet. I mean, the Pasaka and Smough show up pretty frequently. Sometimes we'll get Ornstein, or sometimes we'll get Quaylag. Quaylag is a member on the channel, I think. If Smough was gay, do you think he would pick up a lot of guys? Absolutely. My favorite Dark Souls 2 spell, Suspicious Denial. If... the implication that you're baffled that someone would think that you're not gay is awesome. I will say that queer people are a lot more likely to be attracted to things that would otherwise be considered taboo. So, yeah, I don't think that too many queer people, especially who are interested in someone with an open relationship, would be too scared away by that. Smough is gay. Okay. Ow. Monotonous relationship. That's an unfortunate typo. I feel like a lot of streams recently have been me not saying anything and just laughing at chat. I'm not complaining though. Chat is... My chat is the funniest chat there is. I'm kind of scared of the potential of getting like hundreds of viewers and then the chat going too fast to like respond to a lot of people, because talking to people in chat is like the main reason I do these streams. I don't know, a lot of my a lot of my partners are, a disproportionate number of my partners are, we'll say, not neurotypical. Admittedly, the reason that I get into the relationship is not that I can fix them, but I do my best to help people be happier. I guess that's everything I do. Literally everything I do just revolves around making people happy. That's why I make these videos. I want to make people who watch these videos happy. Okay, gotta get grabbed by this one specifically. Hey, that was so much faster. Okay, gotta make sure I backstab the correct one. I think that was the smoothest Pasaka encounter I've had since I started killing the third, or started backstabbing the third Pasaka. I say the spear is bad. This is... I mean, it's worse than the demon spear. For sure. It's probably worse than the Moonlight Butterfly Horn. Arguably, lightning is better than magic, but, you know, it has the split damage, which the Moonlight Butterfly Horn doesn't have. So it just does less damage, has less reach. The special attack isn't very useful. I would consider this the worst spear in the game. I don't know. It'd be a fun spear to like supplement with miracles, but then you're also putting a lot of your stats into strength and dexterity for the requirements alone. I'm not doing miracles for this run. Normally when I do weapon showcase runs, I just use the weapon itself. There are some weapons that might like the S-Stock, right? I did that with weapon buff miracles, but it's very rare that I would be using miracles or sorceries or pyromancies for damage specifically. Dark Souls 1 is my favorite game of all time, by far. There are a couple games that rival it for a lot of reasons, but like, I don't know. Dark Souls 1 is the game that I always come back to no matter what. There hasn't really been a game like that otherwise. Like, I'll go back to, you know, like Super Mario 64 like once a year or whatever, but Dark Souls 1 is just one that's like incredible in a lot of different ways, and it makes me want to play it over and over and over. Minecraft is another one that I go back to frequently, but I never stick with it, especially not as much as I do Dark Souls, obviously. I beat this game like once a week. I don't know, it was considered the best game of all time by an award show for a reason, right? That was Golden Joystick, right? That's not bad damage. It's not great for a lightning weapon against Teeth, but it's not terrible. I guess it helps when he just stands there and lets me beat him up, though. Okay, this is bad. But it'll probably be fine. I don't think this is going to be far enough. This might kill me. Oh, damn it. Died to Seath SMH, yeah. Professional, by the way. Challenge runner for a living. Non-FromSoft Souls-likes. Thymesia is really great. You could argue Tunic is a Souls-like, though I don't like that for its Souls-like elements. Store and Titan Souls are arguably Souls-likes. more so Death's Door, but Titan Souls also has a lot of Souls-like elements and is obviously very inspired by Dark Souls in a lot of different ways. Another Crab's Treasure was really good. I should be far enough away this time, for sure. Admittedly, I played Another Crab's Treasure really weird, and playing it normal now feels wrong, but... Prison of Husks, I played the demo for that. It's really, really good. I played that demo through probably 7 or 8 times. It's really good. I don't know. Hollow Knight has Souls-like elements for sure. Especially when it comes to like exploration and penalties for death. The idea around like very careful resource management in moment-to-moment fights and like world layout too. But I understand if you wouldn't call it a Souls-like, and I don't have a strong opinion on either side personally. The indomitable human spirit of a terrible build, true. I've beaten Manus with an Astora Straight Sword +5. At stat requirements, hitless, which was one of the Manus fights of all time. It's a Souls-like. That's a good term for it. I agree. Yeah, Liza P. I don't know. It's fun. It didn't do it for me. Liza P boss. I died to a bone wheel because I was reading chat. It's your guys' fault, actually. Souls Light. Yeah. There are a lot of games. There are a lot of games that I would consider Souls Lights. I've done Bone Wheel Shield only. With every enemy in the game replaced with a Bone Wheel. I understand... I'm about to go on an autistic rant. I understand the like, understanding Manus in the context of Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring bosses, in that he's a lot faster than a lot of Dark Souls 1 bosses, but he also just feels like the quintessential Dark Souls 1 boss to me, because he really, really encapsulates like the borderline turn-based combat of Dark Souls 1, right? He uses a move, and then you dodge, and then you have a chance to attack, and then he uses a move, and then you dodge, and then you have a chance to attack, and then it just like repeats like that through the whole fight. So personally, I think Manus is very, very, very Dark Souls 1, and is like the most Dark Souls 1 boss in Dark Souls 1. Yeah, the reason, in my opinion, that Manus feels so Dark Souls 1 is because of the 5-hit combo. That attack specifically means you cannot attack from neutral, because if he decides to use that attack, you will get hit. There's nothing you can do, right? And because of that, you need to hang back and wait for him to take his turn before you take you take your turn, right? So that attack specifically is kind of what defines Manus. Solar Pellets, Backlogs, JK Leads collab. I mean, they know I exist. I'm not sure. The thing is, with other challenge runners, what I do is so dramatically different from most challenge runners that doing any collab with anyone other than people I'm like actively friends with, you know, like Spelunker or Aurora or whatever, doing anything with anyone else would feel very strange. Especially in terms of like what kind of content we'd make. Especially someone like the Backlogs. Oh my goodness, there goes my throat. The Backlogs. I think honestly, the person who my content would fit most with would be Illusory Wall. Yasmania would also be a good one, I think, but I don't know how we would do something together. But like, I've already done something with Illusory Wall, right? I made the Estus video, and I think that is kind of like the perfect intersection of a collab that I could have done. Yeah, Illusory Wall is my favorite content creator. Full stop. I love the idea of doing collaborations with other Souls creators, because I love the idea of having like that community and everything, but I'm not sure that there are many who doing a collaboration with would make much sense. J Rose or Scott's thoughts of Dark Souls, beating the game with every weapon while they beat the game with every Pokemon. I think that's a good comparison. Okay, I'm glad that came off in one hit. That should kill in one hit then, right? Yeah. See what the damage is like. It's okay. Love Power Within and lava damage at the same time. I don't know. I also don't like reaching out for collaborations. It feels... I don't know. It feels like I'm begging. Which feels wrong, and I do this for fun, you know? So it's like... Or, well, I do it for a living, but it's also like... I want to do things that are fun. And while I do think that a lot of... Oh my god, they put a Night Rain reference in Dark Souls 1? That's crazy. I think a lot of collaborations would be a lot of fun. I don't know that I would do a very good job of reaching out for them outside of the contexts where I'm like, you know, could I get your input for this thing like I did with Illusory Wall? Vexel's one copied Night Rain, yeah. That's pretty crazy. FromSoft really needs to... Miyazaki copied Ishizaki. It's your job as fans to pester them about it. I mean, yeah, if you want to see that, I guess it would be. Because I'm too scared to reach out. I've had a lot of suggested collaborations. Yasmania is probably the most common one I get. I used to get JK leads a lot. Like, you should make a video with JK leads because your styles of humor would work really well together. I think they did. I thought it was a funny video. And then, like, you know, I've done stuff with Aurora and Spelunker and whatever. But Yasmania is definitely the most common suggestion for a collaboration that I get. I agree. Lost Izalith is very much a vibe. I have multiple places in Lost Izalith to show off in the Unremarkable and Odd Places 2 video. I don't know. I have like 20-ish locations for a Unremarkable and Odd Places 2. The original had 50, I think. So I do want to find more. But it feels weird to not just find them naturally. I think I made the dragon butts drop something in my mod, but I don't remember what it was. We're just gonna have to test that to find out because I don't like killing them. Oh god. Please don't kill me. Ugh. Everything's fine. What's the best Pokemon? Primarina. Obviously. Best game is Legends Arceus. I heavily disagree. Only because I think Legends Arceus is very close to being good. Because it's insanely tedious to do anything in the Pokédex. Like, I want to be catching Pokemon, but then I have to, like, catch 10 Pokemon without them seeing me. Or, like, which I want to do anyway, but then I'm forced to do it, and then I have to use a move on a Pokemon that I never wanted to use in battle, so I'm just, like, encountering low-level wild Pokemon and just pressing the attack button a couple times. It's just such a tedious interaction that did not need to be there. And that stacks up so quickly. I should also charge my 3DS. I need to finish Pokemon Moon. I kind of want to play Pokemon X and Y. X or Y. I'll probably play Y because I like Voltal more. I also kind of want to, oh my goodness, play it on emulator so I can upscale it because I think they look really good. I think it'd be cool to play Y at like an unnecessarily high resolution. I would say it's embarrassing for Pokemon ZA if you compare it to a 3DS Pokemon game. I love Audino. Audino is such a good Pokemon. Audino is one of my favorites. Do you know? Silk Song brain rot in the chat. As there should be. I don't know. A lot of regional forms. There are very few regional forms that I particularly like. I think that the Hisuian regional forms are like almost there. I like the Hisuian regional forms on the whole, but Alolan forms I think are the best regional forms by quite a wide margin. And even then, it's like there's some that, you know, Tinkaton. Tinkaton is pretty good too. 50 memberships in a stream, and that is a promise. I appreciate that, but you really don't need to spend money on me. As much as I would... Oh my god, I'm dead. Of course. the one spot that I could have stood to kill myself happened. Caterpie is pretty good. I like Caterpie. Beedrill is one of my favorite bug Pokemon. Paldean, Wooper, and Clods. I forgot about Paldean, Wooper. That's true. I don't know. I don't really consider Clodsire a regional form because it's not. It's its own Pokemon. I love Clodsire. I'm not going to say that you should give me money. However, if you want to give me money and either don't want to give money to YouTube or can't give money through YouTube for whatever reason, I do have a Ko-fi link in the description. It will not give a notification on stream. But I mean, like, if you do happen to want to support me and can't through YouTube, that is a way to do it. Vin, thank you so much. I appreciate the message too. I don't know how to respond to it, but thank you. I think I agree that that is the best possible super chat message. This is technically a job, but I just like make box noises on the internet and people listen to it for some reason. I don't think I'll ever understand why. I'm not going to say anything about not feeling like I deserve it because, I don't know, economy and supporting trans creators and everything, but God, I appreciate it so much. And I don't know how to express that very well. One of my favorite changes I made in my mod is making this water in this arena, like, slow you down, like the deep water and dark route. And I think that's a change that I've always wanted somebody to make. Because I think it would, you know, it makes this fight more dynamic and interesting in a lot of ways. I don't know. I had finally, you know, learned enough about Souls modding to do that myself. Ow. Ow. I'm bad at timing. Oh my god. And it's... Mano! Thank you. It's made me kind of want to release a bunch of aspects of my mod as their own individual mods. Like, improve Sanctuary Guardian as its own mod, the changed dragon form as its own mod. But I don't know. Because I feel like some people would want to experience, you know, like a slightly longer, more interesting and difficult Sanctuary Guardian fight without having the entire rebalance and everything. Or like would like the dragon form changes without wanting the whole rebalance or the other change anything. The commission for thicker dragon form. I'll do my best to make it thicker, but I really don't think it's possible, unfortunately. Because the animation, it's idle animation. It bends over, it bends forward slightly. Because of how it's proportioned. And that makes the chest clip into the stomach if it's too big. I feel weird encouraging people to give me money. As much as I absolutely do need the support, since this is how I live. No, it feels weird to be like, give me money because I'm playing a video game for you, you know? Maybe I could be a findom. I know I'm not just playing a video game, but it feels like that. I'm just like playing a video game and talking to people, you know? Making people happy is like the thing that I want to do, right? Getting paid for that is unbelievable to me. Yeah, people pleaser, that would be correct. The third word in that sentence in that I will not comment on because I don't like feeling like I am complimenting myself. Probably because of religious trauma, actually. Damn. Deconstructing my trauma live on stream. Maybe I should just, like, embrace the fact that people call me cute and start calling myself cute. I do that sometimes, but it feels weird to do it all the time. And it's probably because of religious trauma. I do love myself. I know I'm cute. And I accept compliments. But it feels weird to, like, embrace and revel in them and repeat them myself, you know? Estrogen does help me feel a lot better about myself. I didn't think I looked pretty until like a year and a half into my transition after starting taking estrogen. And it was partially because a trans woman started calling me really pretty. Whoa, that was greedy. And it worked out. I don't know if this will poise break him, so I'm not going to try. I haven't shot any lightning yet. This is true. But like, why would I? I gotta give the weapon the best shot, you know? I'm gonna try. Okay. That was scary. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Actually, the range is really nice for when he's rolling away. That's pretty good. Yeah, being able to, like, feel good about your appearance without having to do anything about it. Like, for me, I get dysmorphia still, right? I have the, ew, I don't want to look like that feelings. Which, like, when I don't have the dysmorphia, I do very much want to look like this, and I'm very happy with how I look. But I don't get dysphoria anymore. Even when I'm, like, you know, in sweats and a t-shirt. I don't get dysphoria, and I very, very much used to. So estrogen has done wonders. Though, admittedly, I don't think estrogen is the only culprit. I think a lot of people saying that I'm pretty helped a lot too. Yeah, reinforcement from people that I trust and who I think are attractive has helped more than a lot of things for me. Well, yeah, it's not going to overnight, Manu. It's not like one person calling you cute is gonna make you feel cute. It's a lot more than that. I mean, for me, it was like several people even wanted to interact with me in the first place because they thought I was attractive. And they like specifically expressed that too. I was like, wow, that's a very strange feeling. And over a long time of several people doing that, like happened weirdly frequently. On top of just like compliments on compliments on compliments from random people on the internet is what eventually got me to like how I look and everything. I think the people who say they don't have trauma about something like that are paradoxically a lot more likely to have trauma. The moment that I realized I had autism, the moment I started questioning it, rather, was like, oh, I got a lot of problems. Autism, ADHD, CPTSD. I'm plural, but I don't have DID, which is probably a symptom of trauma. I don't know, there's a lot. And like, I don't know, it has made me who I am. If I went back through my life, you know, if I had a chance to do things again and change anything, I wouldn't. I like being who I am today for a lot of reasons. I like knowing who I know. I like being at the position I am in life. Also, that's a lot more damage than I was expecting. My bad for thinking that the damage would be bad. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm one of those freaks who wouldn't change anything about my life, despite the fact that I was, you know, I didn't have a super great life, all things considered. That's not good. Damn it. I was hoping I could get in fast enough. I like who I am. I like who I know. I like what I'm doing. And that would be very different if my life was different. So I wouldn't change anything about my life. I don't know. I've also, like, if I could be born as a cis woman, I wouldn't. Because I like being trans. And I know that's a very... It's not... That's the wrong way to put it. Again, I like being who I am. And who I am, a large part of that is just, you know, my transness, my identity and everything. I don't know. I know a lot of queer people, and a lot of queer people are really cool, so I like being queer. I like being trans because it's let me meet a ton of incredible people who I wouldn't have met if I wasn't trans. And, you know, if they weren't trans, we probably also wouldn't have met. A lot of my community is what it is because I'm trans, and a lot of them are trans. I don't know. Catholic all-boys school? That sounds awful. I'm so sorry. Manus, what about womanus? Equality. Themis. Parents of the abyss. There we go. Have to try harder if I have no regrets. Yeah, that went surprisingly well, all things considered. I was expecting much lower damage. Yeah, I'm glad to know I'm not the only person who feels the way I do about my identity. I know how I feel is very different from the majority. That's true of like all things though. If anyone knows me, they know how contrarian I am unintentionally in so many different aspects. I used to be Christian. I'm not anymore. I'm really happy I'm not anymore because you like I'm so glad that I ended up being an atheist instead of like an accepting Christian. I'm glad I deconstructed in tandem with not being homophobic rather than stop being homophobic before I deconstructed. That goth, trans, atheist they warned you about. Same, except I'm Etherean instead of goth. I would be called a furry by big media. I know exactly what you mean. Is your name pronounced Mudu? Mudua? It's not imposter syndrome, at least not for me. I do understand how that could be imposter syndrome, absolutely. But Autumn backwards. Whoa. I've come to terms with it, but when I first started transitioning, it was like, whoa, I don't want to like be a super feminine passing girl, right? I just want to be me and be comfortable with my identity. And being comfortable with my masculinity took a long time. Feel obligated to change your voice? Yeah. I personally, if you like your voice, you should absolutely keep it. Women with deep voices are awesome and cool. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, there you go, man. Huh. Your existence has been validated. I think there are other reasons your existence has been validated, but I don't think you need your existence to be validated, actually, from an external source. Oh, I should have rolled it in. Alright. I'll take it. We might get a third time with how long this fight is going to be. Maybe even a fourth. We'll see. We'll see how generous Calamite decides to be today. Oh, here comes 3. Look how cunty Calamite's walk is. 4? Oh my god, that damage is so much worse. This was a video I've wanted to make for a long time, because I knew it was a bad weapon, and at the time that I wanted to make the video, I wasn't good enough to beat the game with the spear in a stream, so I wanted to make a video out of it. I'm glad I waited until I was good enough to beat the game with this weapon on stream, because I would not have been able to do this a while ago. That's why I want to redo the Velka's Rapier and Dragon Bone Fist runs. Calamite is treating us very good today, true. I mean, Seal, speaking from experience, I like your voice, personally. But I mean, ultimately, it comes down to how you feel about it. I will always advocate for feeling good about, you know, what you are already. But, I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it, you know? Right in the cloaca. I wasn't the one to make the joke this time! Alright, that went shockingly well. Welcome back, Ben. I love this community. 3-hour stream, by the way. This was a very fast run, aside from the damage from the weapon. And this was 3 hours, so... Did I buff the weapon in my mod? I did? Actually, quite a bit. Actually, speaking of buffing things in my mod, I had to dramatically so I wanted to increase fist damage, like bare fist damage, because I thought it'd be funny. Like, it wouldn't be good, but it would be almost viable to beat the game with your bare fists. But the dragon form is multiplicative on top of fist scaling, so I was doing like 900 damage a hit with dragon form, as opposed to like the 300 that you'd get in vanilla. So I did unfortunately have to nerf bare fist damage, and I'm trying to figure out a way to nerf the dragon fists without nerfing the normal fists, and I don't know if that's possible. I can't, though, is the problem. I don't know how to do that, because it's not like in the parameter files. It's a hard-coded thing, and modifying hard-coded things is insanely stupidly difficult. I have no idea where it's at. I have no idea how to do that. I have no idea how I would even learn how to do that. As much as I have tried. I forgot to drink, but it worked out. Everything's fine. Crucify Miyazaki? Why are we crucifying Miyazaki? How many times could I have done this, actually? I want to see what the durability damage is. Thoughts on the weapon? It's okay. You can beat the game with it. I feel like it would have been pretty awful without Power Within. And, hey, there's a weapon at risk. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend doing a playthrough with it, but if you really, really want to do the cosplay run, I think it looks really cool, or like really, really want to try out the lightning attack, it's viable. Technically, you can beat the game with it. I know this probably doesn't sound great, but I'm away from home and wanted to get this video out.
So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all. And I would especially like to thank Dewey Adams, Nocia, Vin Spear, Manu, Astral Lily, Executioner Smough, Quaylag, Winter, Validate, Nick Possum, Krista, Howling Nocturne, Ryasune21, Rakuna, Anthony, Manorock, and Ryan Rickard. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I don't know how to end this.